Southern Holland for Formula One stock car racing. Now we get into the World Championship action. First of all, we have a pre-qualification race which will determine where the cars start in the final event we'll be seeing here from Barlow. So once again, it is 15 laps, and the starter car moves out of the way and off they go, and there's some bumping and boring there. We look down at the centre car there, number 12, Keith Souters, seems to be getting a buffet there. They're all piling into this first turn. They're across the centre ring. You can see they've got those stoppers, those white tyres, to prevent them cutting the corners. So they all reel off here, and it's Sabina Road who's come through. The lady driver again has come through, and with her there is Duke van der Werf, number 228, and he might be a bit out of his class, as indeed might Keith Souters, number 12. That's the green car we saw wobbling. We've already lost number 85. The sponsor's name on the side was Pete Carter, but in fact it's Ray Tilsley from Great Britain who there spun, but it's Sabina Road who's taken advantage of an early break here. She leads this pre-qualification race. In second place it is still Van der Wolf. There is Sabine Road, the German lady who really can show the men a thing or two about driving. In there is number 12, and that's poor old Keith Souters. We thought he might be feeling the pace a bit. He scrambles for safety. The car is broken down. It might just constitute a hazard. There is a lot of room here, it has to be said. It's a big racing pacey track with bags of width. Still jockeying for position. That's number 217, Ron Kroonder, getting up. He's an interesting character. He's the son of a famous father, George, who built a lot of stock cars. 22 years old, lives in Asendorf in Holland. He's an auto mechanic. We'll watch for him because we rather expect him to make his presence felt. Second place, Pete Faulding, number 33. There he is. Sabine Road in front, but now Peter Faulding, the young Brit, twice world champion. There's something almost of a medieval quality about these cars. They look like great jousting horses that are roaring around. It's a bit primitive. And look at that for a piece of jockeying around on the inside. Still, they're behaving themselves with a great deal of courtesy. We haven't really seen anybody going crashing through and T-boning any of their rivals. They've been keeping a respectful distance. It has to be said, on a track of this, there's the leader, on a track of this size, they're going so fast that any kind of deliberate obstruction or boring or any kind of dangerous driving is terribly dangerous. On a small 400-meter circuit, you can afford to throw your weight around, but here, if you crash, it can be fatal. Sabina Road coming under a bit of pressure now. Faulding is up with her. Ron Kroonder is not far behind. And there is Wimshut, number 30, down the field this time. We saw him winning the Jack Place Memorial race earlier on. He's not quite finding his ability to start so quickly. And there is the front two, and it's Sabina Road again with Pete Faulding making his effort to go by. Pete Faulding, we remind you, car number 35, and he is the Brit, only 24 years old, one of the youngest ever world champions. There's Sabine. An interesting tactical battle. They'll try to get up and intimidate this lady driver. She takes a bit of frightening. She's still in front. There's daylight between her and Pete Faulding in second place. There is the battle up front. They're beginning to pick off the back markers. 15 laps is the distance. And maybe now Faulding will make his efforts as they have to circumnavigate those tail enders. Here's the distance. And this big crowd here in Barlow. Southern Holland are enjoying this one. Sabine Road must be aware of the pressure as Faulding tries to lock back down the inside. Third place, Ron Kroonder. at this moment. Car number 217, we get a glimpse of him as he flies through. And once again, this is where it's all at. When will Faulding make his decisive strike? You get just that feeling. Here's Ron Kruger, number 217. He's right up with them now, and it really is hotting up out there. To slow down for a back marker. Towards the closing stages, can the German lady driver hold on? Oh, she gets a nudge. Oh, we saw that beautifully. Kruger going through, and Faulding's gone through as well. Faulding has gone through, and Ron Kruger followed him down through the gap. We just noticed there, and Sabine Road, who has led for most of this race, suddenly finds herself relegated back into third place. Moments of drama there, and there certainly was some contact. Faulding it is, though, who leads, and over the line he takes the checkered flag. Second place, Ron Kruger made his move. The gallant Sabine Road relegated back to third, having led for what? So 2/3 of the race. But some stirring action there in this pre-qualifier. The crowd, well, they're knowledgeable stock car fans. They're debating that one, as once again they hose down the horse. And there is the rostrum, and there is confirmation of that result. Peter Faulding wins it from Britain. Ron Kruger is second. Sabine Road third. John Lunn from Britain in fourth, and Peter Harrison, Britain, is fifth.